Perhaps Sporting Lagos is the most attractive sporting project in Nigeria today. My name is Ayomide Shotubo, right here on Guardian Nigeria, and this is the Nutmeg. And today, we unravel the secrets to the success of this attractive project. Join me. Let's start off from the beginning, where it all began. I read Shola Akinlade, the owner of Sporting Lagos. He said that it's a platform for social change and community development. But how did he approach you? Because that's particularly interesting. How did he approach you, and also, what was the convincing factor that made you buy into the vision in the first place?
A colleague of ours, Colin Udo, was the one who approached me. So I think it was after COVID, that we started talking, and it was looking like it was real. So when I say we got talking, I'm talking about Colin. I hadn't spoken with Shola. So eventually when Shola, we met somewhere or we talked, I can't remember exactly now. All I did was to dissuade him. I did all I could to let him into the negatives of Nigerian football. I told him everything to discourage him. But the more I told him about those challenges, the more he was at home with what was going on. And he said something. He said, all I have told him motivated him to, more than ever before, to go out with the project. It was at that stage I couldn't say, because I was thinking that by the time I dissuade him, he would say, okay, then it just goes and I move on. So he kept pushing and pushing, and I was okay. I've given him my words. I will run with it. So that was how it started. Project, a football league, because it didn't have a name. We're just running with a project. Different names, Lagos City, different names. But eventually, we betted Sporting Lagos 16 months ago at a resort in Ilaji. I bought a slot, The first thing was, okay, where do we start from? Shola seemed to want a team in the Premier League. Of course, you knew that was going to be a mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't about money. It was about the availability of a slot. And we actually tried, had a go at a team from the eastern part of Nigeria. Twice we were so close to getting it. Twice it was looking like they had a change of mind. So, okay, let's buy a slot in the NNL. So I bought a slot in the NNL. The rest, like they say, is history.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, let's move away from that now. Fan engagement is an investment that we've seen has yielded obvious results. But it's also interesting to know what other foundational pillars were put in place to make it a project that is as attractive as it is now in Nigeria. Probably the most attractive sporting project in the country now.
Well, you see, there's something about experience, My job as Sporting Lagos is to handle the footballing part of it. Shola and his team, Fola, Ekene and Co, handle the other part of it. What is the other part of it? Game day experience. When you come watch Sporting Lagos, you will not go back somewhere. You want to come again and again. Once when we were starting, I asked some young ladies, the ones who call Ajebotas, and I'm like, why are you here? You're supposed to be at the movies. They said what they have seen is a new adventure for them. That for Sporting Lagos, they will trade a movie to come and see Sporting Lagos. Why?
Wow.
You don't know who's going to be the act that will perform at halftime. Apart from the performance, there's something for everybody. I mean, you're watching football, there's so much to drink, there's so much to eat. At halftime, there's the game show where you either kick a ball and get instant 100,000. I mean, then the most important part of it is the environment.
Let's talk about the sporting philosophy of the club itself. Because you look around clubs in Nigeria, but you cannot really see clear-cut models for these clubs to run. I mean, you look at the best of the best all around the world, they do have models. So what is the club's sporting model or philosophy, if you like?
Well, a generational club that will outlive the founders. A community club that you will feel that I am part of this club, wherever you are. A club that everyone can have a buy-in, being part of the founders of Sporting Lagos. So if you have an investment somewhere, you protect it with everything you've got. It's not exclusive. Like I always say, you come into the stadium, you are forced to buy the jersey, 15,000 naira. You are given the free vuvuzela. You have a vuvuzela. I mean, it's alien to us that everyone that comes to a stadium to watch Sporting Lagos, the home games precisely, there's a vuvuzela. You go home with a vuvuzela. You go home with a small flag. There's always a souvenir to go back home with.
Okay, let's move to talks about things on the pitch, and where better to start from than Coach Paul for himself, who has brought a brand of football. But now we're going into, or let's say, Sporting Lagos are in the top division now. So what brand of football should we be expecting to see as a top flight team in the Nigeria Premier Football League?
Well, let me start by saying that Sporting Lagos was bettered by me, like I said 16 months ago, on the field precisely, in Ilaji. And our first coach was Uche Okabwe.
Okay.
Before the end of the season, when we started struggling and every day was looking like we were going down, we had to get a coach. Shola went outside the shores of Nigeria to get a Nigerian, Sanjo, who came on board as the coach, playing a brand of football that I use the word tantalizing. It didn't just work out. Good football, no result, we managed to survive. So, new season, we got a new coach, got Otega from Iyimba, but it didn't just work. It didn't start with us, but, after a few weeks, it didn't just work. So, we moved on to Paul of was in Benin Republic. Paul came and with his own philosophy, keyed into our philosophy. My wife has never been to a stadium. The final of Nigeria Super 8, she came with her children.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
And she was very, very happy. She saw the kind of football that we played. She even said that even if we are lost, she would have been happy with what she saw. So that's what Paul Ofo, and getting the kind of players that can play a style of football. It's one thing to have a coach. It's another to have the caliber, or you call them the personnel that can deliver the kind of football that we want to play.
Well, the new season is almost upon us. Just like a month time, and it interests us to also know what would be the objective, because you could look at it and say, oh, fantastic, the team is investing a lot, but with the amount of investment going in, what is the short-term goal, or what would you call the objective at the end of the next season in the NPFL? This is where we want to be. This is what we want to look like.
Short-term target, we're in the Premier League. That was the first target, get into the Premier League. We are in the Premier League. Second target is to stay in the Premier League.
Okay.
Yeah. Then next season is to consolidate. Again, this is football. I've always said that football is like biscuits. No one can tell where to crack. Who says we cannot play in the Champions League?
Yeah.
Who says we cannot play in the CAF Confederations Cup? Who says we cannot win the FA Cup, the National FA Cup? And that takes us onto the continent. But hey, we are playing it low. We want to crawl before we start running.
No, but okay, let's also talk about the long term now. Is it to dominate? Is it to take over the league, or just be one of the top teams, the powerhouses? I mean, it's a young club, less than 2 years old. So what would be the long-term vision, just as we've talked about the short-term vision?
Shola has always said to me that he wants to play in the Champions League. He wants to play in the Champions League.
Okay.
So if the founder says this is what he wants, that's what we all want. So it means that second season, we should be playing in the CAF Champions League or CAF Confederations Cup. That is if we don't get it in the first season. You know what I mean? So that's the big target, to be powerhouse in Nigerian and African football. A club that will parade the best of the best players, the players who want to come and play. They're attracted by the vision and, of course, the brand of football that we play.
Yeah.
And ultimately, remember that Sporting Lagos was set up for business. It's purely business driven. It is not for PR. It is not CSR. It is purely business. Because right now, you already know that we have a sister team in Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Obviously.
the best players from Sporting Lagos in Nigeria will be going straight to Denmark.
And
Every season.
is that sort of like a leverage to attract the best players?
Of course, that's our ace. Exactly. I mean, you want to come, you know that, okay, if I'm here, I could go to Europe.
Yeah.
Why would you go to a club that will not guarantee you a place to Europe?
Yeah.
That's our selling point. Sporting Lagos is the team on everyone's lips at this point. And we are hoping that will not disappoint our fans.
Of course, that was an interesting chat with the chairman of Sporting Lagos, Godwin Enakhena, and we'll be bringing to you even more local content, local football, even Sporting Lagos come the new NPFL season. Thank you very much for watching the video. You can, of course, still stick around. You can follow us on social media. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and tap our notification bells to get our latest videos. My name still remains Ayomide Shuzbo. In the next episode, I'll see you. Bye.